Hey, what's up, everybody? We're back. Quick little discussion here. Let's build on the idea of acceleration and the mechanics that happen or need to take place during early acceleration, because there's been a bunch of questions that have been popping up based on some of the recent posts. Okay, but before I do that, I'll take a sidestep and we'll get back to that answer. Okay, so what I wanted to discuss at first was this idea of speed assessment, sprinting assessment, because it's amazing how far it's come in the last almost 10 years now. Okay, with the research crew that's been figuring out the best way and very it's literally simple method for us to assess and analyze sprint mechanics, looking at force, velocity, power profiling, right? Super amazing. And then they even validated that with the research crew in Japan with the 60-meter force platform, and then it's been validated using GPS to find these same type of measurements using this assessment. So it's been amazing, the sprint assessment evolution that's taken place. But one thing is, some of the results I think are starting to make people confused a little bit, because what it does, any type of test, by the way, is it gives us insight, like a kind of understanding. It's starting to paint a picture, but it's not giving us all the fine details. It never will. Okay, any of these assessments, right? Force plate data in terms of jumping. If you like using Tendo units, whatever it is, it's never going to give you the complete picture. Just so you know that. Okay. But one thing is, during early acceleration, some of the scores might be low, like F0. That's that theoretical maximal horizontal force. So, oh, the F0 is low, right? So it's influencing the P max, the maximal power production. So what should we do? Coaches are thinking, oh, we just gotta. That means we gotta punch harder because it's right. That takes place in early acceleration. So something's got to happen during early acceleration. Let's just punch and push off harder. Okay, but we got to be careful with that. Here's why: because the punching harder group, they only see a duck here in this picture. That's all they see. This is a duck, right? All we do is punch. All we do is project and punch in the sagittal plane. Dude, there's two things here. It's a rabbit, there's a duck. It's not just a duck. There's a rabbit right here. You see the rabbit too? Two things, right? Multiple things. What am I saying? Even the assessment only takes into account vertical ground reaction force and this anterior posterior forces. So it doesn't even take into account these medial lateral component that we've discussed before, because we know early acceleration, there's this step width kind of thing where we're getting maybe a little bit wider, or maybe getting a little bit of this medial lateral impulse. It's not even taking that into account. So they're going, I must only be this. So I got to do this harder. I got to do it more aggressive. It has the word force in it. So that probably means, as a strength coach, a speed coach, force usually means hard, aggressive punch, right? Maybe it's more of impulse we should also be looking at in terms of force with an inclusion of time. Okay. So the rabbit part might just be, hey, what about the actual technique, the switch itself, the mechanics, the body position, the speed of getting off of the start? And instead of looking about the force to get off, maybe about the quickness to get out of your start. Okay, so there's just really, a little bit of a yin yang relationship here, right? This crew that's only looking at being able to punch harder, drive more force into the ground in the sagittal plane, you don't realize that there's a trade off. I'm not sure, okay, because there is. One, we talked about, you just punch through, right? You get terminal knee extension. It's going to take you longer to drive that leg, that swing leg through quicker, right? The research shows that. It's black and white. The research and this image is very black and white. Okay, the other one is you get left out, it corresponds to that. You get left out to dry, so it just takes you longer. And then also, if you punch down, that force has to go somewhere. Maybe over time, doing all this repetitive punch and drive and forceful based acceleration mechanics might not be as good for the organism down the road, because of, I mean, again, it's going to travel somewhere, right? Are they going to start to have knee and hamstring injuries and hip injuries from aggressive punch, punch, punch instead of quickness, get out of it? I don't know. That remains to be seen. Okay. But again, just something to think about when you interpret some of these scores in the data, and maybe you don't see what you want in terms of the F0 or the P max. Don't always just think it's a punch in a sagittal plane issue only. It's not just a duck, right? We've already talked about this. There's multiple factors. In this case, there's actually even two. It's a duck and a rabbit. So just be aware of that. Be aware of the quickness of the switch, the timing of the switch, the fact that there's this medial-lateral impulse. Be aware of all these things. Stop only looking at this as a rabbit. or a duck picture. It's both. It's a combination. Okay? So that's the take home message. Don't just think of ducks. It could be lots of different things.